Okay, so astronomers have been asking for decades, trying to answer the big questions in the universe. What's dark matter? What's dark energy? What happened at the beginning of the universe? Well, in recent years, astronomers have gotten very close at figuring out, and we think we have a good idea of how galaxies actually formed, which is another one of those big mystery questions. The way we think they formed is through accretion. I'll get to the Plato in a second. So, there are two main types of galaxies. You have big spiral galaxies, beautiful to look at, like the Milky Way, like Andromeda. You also have this other type, elliptical galaxies. They're big, they're puffy, there's not a lot of features to them. So you're like, nah. For a while, astronomers thought maybe you start as a spiral, and over time you evolve and you become this elliptical. But now we know that we're actually dealing with accretion. So at the beginning of the universe, when stars started forming, you get these dwarf galaxies, big clusters of stars. And they would attract each other by gravity. And as they get close, they start to merge and mix and form these bigger and bigger galaxies. Hundreds of these, thousands of these would mix together and start forming these big disk galaxies like we see. Fifth graders have been making galaxies for years. And the reason why we know accretion is still happening is we can see the remnants. We can physically see the remnants now. We know that this is a thing. We look at Andromeda, our neighbor galaxy. We can see 4, 5, 6 of these big mergers have happened. As a dwarf galaxy gets close to its host, the differential gravity starts to pull and rip it apart. And you get these strings, these streams, snakes, if you will, of galaxies as they come falling in and merge and become one. So it's not just a far-off fantasy that we're thinking about what's happening, what could be the cause. We're actually physically seeing these things happen now. Hundreds of these have happened. But the real question remains, is this the full picture? Because when we look out at our own galaxy, when we look out at our neighbor Andromeda, like I said, we see a few dozen of these things actively happening, big ones. But the question is, where are the other ones? Like even when we search our own galaxy, we're hunting. Sagittarius, which was a dwarf galaxy at one point, a very massive one, is being torn apart and it covers our entire sky. But that's the big one that we see. We don't see the little ones. We don't see these other mergers. If galaxies form the way that we think they do by accretion, there should be hundreds of these things everywhere that we should be able to see. And we're not seeing those at all. So the question is, if accretion, if that Plato model is correct, where are the other galaxies? Why can't we see them? Or is there something else, a little detail, that we're missing from the picture? Thank you.